Let's say one, two words.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say something. Have you finished? Have you finished it too?
Yeah, I'm going to speak.
Okay, Daddy wants to speak first.
Please listen carefully. I will say this only once. For those that remember, hello, hello. The uniqueness of this group is something that Mum and I worked from the moment Rafi was born. And that is to develop a sense of loyalty between each of you. That if there is a need in any area, we can count on their brothers and sisters. That the rivalry is not rivalry of conflict, but rivalry of being able to develop this mutual love that we have tried to instill into your psyche. Baruch Hashem, you have proven yourself worthy candidates of this level of teaching that we gave. Secondly, I want to say I'm very moved by what I'm seeing here. And I can tell you, having gone to hospital, having been told the most horrendous things on arrival, that would probably have a cardiac arrest and that wouldn't resuscitate, the chances of my getting out, if I go to ITU, are zero. And if I go to ITU, they move me to the next level down, then I will never survive. And I said to them, it's not up to you. It's in higher hands. But once I went, I don't remember going to the ITU. I don't remember taken down. And I don't remember losing so many days and not knowing what happened in my life. I had spiritual experiences which have become clearer as the fog clears. But to live a life not knowing where 4.5 days have gone is very good. It's very moving. But I could feel the power of the tefillot, of the achdut, exactly like I would have expected. The doctor consultant came to me and said, it is impossible what we have seen here today. The last 3 days, there are 25 people in this ward. One is worse than the other. No one has woken up in 4 weeks. No one in 4 weeks has woken up. Baruch Hashem, I'm now here to sit with your mummy. Who's a rock. But with this comes lessons. And one day when I have Goach, I will tell you the spiritual lessons that I learned in my coma. The coma certainly is a block in time, because when I woke up, I asked them what day of the week was it, and they told me one of the days. They said it was Wednesday night or something. So I started singing Mariv for Pesach a week early. I did not know what day of the week it was, but the experiences that one sees when one is confronted with the Din Shel Ma'ala, these things have an impact that will impact everybody here. If you think that stepping out of line on something, some areas, is just something that affects you, it's not the case. It affects every one of us. I want to tell you, I was only going to speak for 30 seconds, but I want to tell you that being in spiritual areas where things are coming back clear, much clearer than when I went out, shows us what showed me when I was in Shamayim and I was my case came through before the Din Shel Ma'ala. It has nothing to do with what you think you've done. because the method of assessment is different. My first clear vision, which I can see as if I'm holding Mom today, was that I was being judged for chesed. And when people came, it was like a play, or delivery of packages of chesed from my time in Gibraltar when I had people at home and I invited, and there was stacks and stacks and stacks of this stuff. And suddenly some thing came, a black thing, and blew everything away. So this has nothing to do with him. This is to do with his wife. He just brought them, his wife cooked, his wife served them, his wife cleared the table, everything was his wife. He didn't. He's worthless. Then there were cases when you find yourself, you think you've done something. They were not interested in the judgment of, at this point, of tefillin, kashrut, tefillah, Shabbat, although Shabbat was very prominent in other areas. They were interested in Ahavat Chinam. And I can tell you that the queue for judgment was so long, I couldn't see the end of it. When my turn came, there were 3 individuals judging my case. Eventually, when they heard my name, 2 excused themselves because they were nogea b'davar. You never know what act in your life has become significant and what act which you thought was significant because of the volume has become worthless. 2 of the Rabbanim excused themselves because they were nogea b'davar.
What that means.
That means that you cannot judge the case as a shofet if you are an interested party. And the 2 Rabbanim, the first one was a Rav called Rabbi Yehuda Melamed. Rabbi Yehuda Melamed is a rabbi whose grave I discovered, and I made it known to the whole of Keilat in Gibraltar. Came from Hebron, I wrote articles about it, and he said, I cannot sit in judgment because he did chesed for me. The other one was Yosef Knafo, and he said, no one has made my Sfarim more public than this man in the last 5 years. And therefore, I cannot judge. And it was an amazing thing happened. They moved from the judgment table to the witness table. And suddenly, their witness statement became the valuable thing that no one would have thought. There were many other incidents that were brought up. And although I can imagine you think this is hallucination, they weren't hallucinations. So many incidents that I did not even remember. Minor incidents. Did I speak to the guy sitting next to me in Shul, who maybe had nowhere to go? And maybe he was lonely and needed a good morning. Did I give somebody something that they needed when they needed it? And I gave it to him, and you never think twice about it. When it comes to the judgment of chesed, it's not what you think, but it's what you have to do with by yourself. You have to give chesed from your heart to other parties. This is the whole idea of ahavat chinam, like you have sinat chinam, undue hatred. A person has to develop ahavat chinam for Am Yisrael, because it's this achdut of ahavat chinam which is symbolized in many ways by the unity in our family that is powerful enough to bring the Geulah, not only for the whole Am Yisrael, but everyone personally. When I was up in my queue for Shemayim, I didn't know who was sitting. But today I had a call from Rabbi Raffaeli in Yerushalayim. And he said to me, the conversation went like this. ממשה רפואה שלמה, מה שלומך? מי היו הרחמים היושבים בדין? I said, מה? כן, מי היו האנשים שישבו בדין כשהגעת שם? I never spoke to this man about this. The only person who knew about it was Mommy, and I think Batsheva a little bit. This was today. For me, and I mentioned the two names. Who was the third? I said, I don't know. Never saw his face. He had a jilaba. I didn't see. But what's significant is that one has to be concerned that achdut and love for third parties has got to come from the heart. And therefore, whether we feel we're too English, we can't do this, it doesn't matter. Break barriers, because it's those barriers, tiny little things, that make all the difference in the judgment of Chesed. One would have thought that when I practically died, I was going to be judged like everybody thinks on everything. They didn't want to know. They only wanted to know about Ahavat Chinam. Unrelinquished love. My bracha to you is, you should take this message throughout your lives. You should show Ahavat Chinam, small gestures, to your wives, to your children, to your friends, those you never met or talked to before. A person you sit to in shul, who has never said two words, who may be lonely, and all he needs is a good morning. I learned this very important lesson many years ago, when I used to go every month to Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, I went to this shul, the Machzikas Das shul, and there were 14, 15 people in shul, so they knew I was a stranger. No one person came to say hello that morning. 3 mornings on the trot. On the third morning, an elderly gentleman, Mr. Samson, used to make cheese. We have Samson cheese here. He came to say hello. When he did, other people came. But it was, for me, it was very hard, because it was harder when they came to say hello. Because when they finished davening, they came and said, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, and off they went. I could be dying of hunger. I might have nowhere to go. I might not know my way around. I may have nowhere to sleep. And a Shalom Aleichem which says, I know you're here, but I'm not interested. That's not a Shalom Aleichem. That's an insult. When a person communicates with a third party, it has to be lev belev. There has to be an effort to communicate and link to that person's neshama. It's very easy to get away with the Shalom Aleichem. The Shalom Aleichem, in my view, is an insult. And this was shown in my Din Shamayim to be correct. When you meet with people and you have an involvement with people, you have to make sure that there is a kesher, nefesh by nefesh. All these organizations, very good, nefesh by nefesh, send the check. No, it's nefesh by nefesh. Am echad, belev echad. You have to unify that amazing ability of Am Yisrael to fuse two neshamot together. I want to say that the amazing feats of James Bond on Jane Bond to get me home on the second night of Pesach, that I could do Seder with my beautiful wife here. Although she did it because I couldn't even hear my voice. It was just an amazing chesed. I thank the Ribbono Shel Olam for bringing me home, for being able to see my beautiful family, to be able to share some thoughts with you. And as the months go by, I will share some new ideas which I gained on those 4.5 days, which I don't know where they went. But as the fog lifts, the knowledge of what happened also lifts. Hashem will bless you with simcha and ahavat, b'nei Israel b'chinam. I leave you on with your mother.